But I'm joined by a particularly distinguished Professor of Economics at King's College London and former Chief Economist at the Cabinet Office, Jonathan Portes.
I'm afraid to say, what we have, the big evidence, I'm afraid, of the last 6 or 7 years is that things like uncertainty and the cost of Brexit actually have a more damaging impact on investment than the headline rate of corporation tax, because what the OBR says is we've now got pretty clear evidence that Brexit has reduced investment, and that's one of the reasons why the growth forecast going forward is so dismal.
There's also been a COVID pandemic and other things. But
but that's what you get that by looking at comparing us to other countries. It's not about COVID.
Well, that seems to have had quite a big impact, and the UK is a particularly open market, though we came out of it earlier thanks to not being in the European Union and getting ahead with our vaccine.
Imagine the shock when he finds out it doesn't matter how many times you shamelessly repeat a lie, it's still a lie.
Can you list the Brexit benefits that common people have received so far, and what further benefits will common people receive in the next 12, 18, 24 months?
Well, the British people as a whole have received the advantage of the vaccine, which was a pretty big and early benefit of Brexit.
Here is the independent fact-checker Full Fact. Under European law, the UK was permitted to act independently to approve the vaccine in an emergency. And here is Channel 4 Fact Check. As a UK government press release from 23rd of November 2020 states, if a suitable COVID-19 vaccine candidate becomes available before the end of the transition period, EU legislation which we have implemented via Regulation 174 of the Human Medicines Regulations allows the MHRA to temporarily authorise the supply of a medicine or vaccine based on public health need. So even if we were still a member of the EU, the UK regulator would have been able to take this decision on its own because EU law already allows it. And if all that's not enough for you, here is the actual head of the UK's Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, June Rain.
We appear to be getting authorisation for this vaccine ahead of our friends in Europe. I was just wondering, does the fact that the UK is no longer part of the EU, did that make any difference to the speed with which you were able to complete your authorisation?
We have been able to authorise the supply of this vaccine using provisions under European law which exist until the 1st of January.
By now, even Larry the cat knows he's lying. Even LBC's Nick Ferrari has caught up.
You say, I'm proud to have got Brexit done. I now look forward to the future to build a truly global Britain. What are the three best achievements since getting Brexit done, would you say, Minister? Good morning.
Good morning, Nick. Well, I'd say from the start, the biggest impact we've seen over the last couple of years is probably the Britain's ability to fulfil its own vaccine programme.
Well, you'll be aware, of course, the independent website Full Fact say that's not true, and even the boss of our own MHRA, Dr. June Rain, has also said that's not true. So,
well, we could have done
strike that one out?
You're absolutely right.
This should be on the 6 o'clock news. EU legislation enacted into British law already allowed countries to temporarily authorise vaccines without waiting for approval from the EMA. Everyone should now know this. In fact, as the Channel 4 Fact Check pointed out, the UK government itself always made it clear that it could authorise vaccines unilaterally under European law.